Hey guys, City have just lost to RB Leipzig 2-1 in the final Champions League group game, and that was a very frustrating game of football. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the sky is falling in or anything like that, but it's definitely one of those nights that you want to forget about. If you want to do me a massive favour though beforehand and put a smile on this face, please go and download OneFootball right now in the link in the description for all your Manchester City transfer news and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully some positive news in the coming days to get Manchester City fans a little bit more excited. I would say it's the best football app on the market, bar absolutely none. You get all your stats and information from across the world of football as well, and it does help support my channel a little bit, so it'll be massively appreciated if you don't mind. So download it right now in the link in the description below and help and nourish your phone like over 10 million people have done. It costs nothing. You can also scan the QR code next to my face to get you a big old football dose sent straight to your phone. So let's talk about that game. Ultimately, this game does sort of mean nothing. Well, it should have meant nothing, but now it does sort of mean something. There is a slight legacy from this game now, unfortunately, and that, of course, is the fact that now we are one senior player down for the next Champions League knockout stage game. Kyle Walker apparently only going to be suspended for one leg. I don't know if it would be more than that, but it should just be one. But that should never have been the situation in the first place. And we'll get on to all that in a minute. Mainly we'll talk about the performance. It was just nothing game, an absolute nothing nonsense night of football. A horrible environment as well. I've forgotten how bad it was when you have an empty stadium with no fans in. The atmosphere is just deathly. It's horrific, it's depressing, and if I'm being honest, a little bit triggering, given how shite last year was, to be reminded of that so vividly. I didn't need that. I didn't like it in the slightest, but that was a reminder of just what it was like, and it was crap, man. It was crap. The atmosphere probably didn't help the game, if we're being honest. It obviously played a little bit into RB Leipzig's hands because they're a little bit more used to it than we are at the moment. But still, that is not an excuse by any stretch of the imagination. That team that we put out should have done better than they did. The only problem we've got, of course, is that this game literally meant nothing. We were already through. We were already top of the group. So what did the players have to play for? Well, I guess pride and rhythm and fitness and all that kind of stuff. And if I'm being honest, I'm not going to have a go at them because ultimately it doesn't matter. But they had a bad night, a very disappointing night, and the kind of night where you can sit there as a City fan and go, that wasn't good enough, you better make up for it the next game. And a few players, I didn't know a few players had a level that low in them. Gundogan's been so good recently, I didn't know he was capable of being that ineffective. And I was very disappointed in him, actually. I expected better from Gundogan, and I still love him, don't get me wrong. Like, I love all these players, like I love Pep. And you've got to understand, once again, and I feel like I'm going to have to use this caveat a few times in these videos, this is still coming from a place of love and appreciation, but I'm just talking about the context of the night. But I did expect more. And I don't think that's unrealistic given what we know about these players. And Gundogan was poor. Fernandinho, Father Time really is catching up with Fernandinho. He was letting RB Leipzig players run off for fun in that first half. And I think, unfortunately, I don't think it's sharpness of games. I think it's genuinely time has caught up with him. And because he's not playing much, his legs are getting slower. And as a result, he can't quite catch up, and it'll take him longer to get sharper. I think, unfortunately, he's very much the backup. And to be honest, in my opinion, he probably shouldn't have been on the pitch anyway. I would have gone for youth, but you know what I'm going to say about that in a bit anyway. But I guess my major frustration is that overall, the performance was bad. You know, the players played poorly. Everyone pretty much had a poor game, really. Stefan made some good saves, to be fair to him. But other than that, you could tell that the players didn't really want to be there. You could tell that their motivation, there was none, and that they overall, they thought they had in their mind was just about the next game or putting their feet up. And I understand that to an extent. The players are tired, and it's a horrible time of the year, and the atmosphere was dead in there because there was no atmosphere. But ultimately, if that's going to be the situation and the players aren't really up for it, don't fucking play them. I know it's not on Guardiola to know that they're not going to be up for it, but an educated guess would suggest that this is going to play out like a friendly, and this is exactly what happened. These games never go how you think they do. You can't play senior players in a dead rubber and expect intensity. They're not going to do it because they're looking after themselves, and it shouldn't be that way, but that is just human nature. And I kind of wish we'd not put ourselves in a situation where we could have walked away from this game with a net negative, and that's what we have done. Unfortunately, Kyle Walker got himself sent off being an absolute fucking idiot. Genuinely, Kyle, what were you doing? It was kind of maybe potentially a soft red, But you gave the referee a decision to make and he took it. Like, don't do that. Don't be a fucking idiot. And the reason he did that in the first place, I'm not excusing him, is because we played poorly. The players got frustrated. They started moaning at the referee and Kyle Walker lost his head and kicked out. And now the result of that is we haven't got the best defensive right back in the world available for the knockout game. Don't know what that's going to be either. It could be a very big team and that could cost us. Of course, Zinni will step up, I'm sure, but we lose Cancelo's attacking from the left back. It's a net negative is what I'm saying, and it didn't have to be that way. And I know he was rested recently, Gundogan and Walker, but for me, at this stage of the season, when the games he played and whatever it is, you can't get enough rest. Just don't put him in the position to get injured or get suspended or be frustrated, and then you have no problems. And what a few more days rest ahead of the game at the weekend, is that really going to harm him? I mean, the time to get back to Manchester, it'll be Wednesday, then they'll be training on Thursday, then it's Wolves at the weekend anyway, so it's no real rest anyway. Let him relax, let him do nothing, and then have everyone happy. And the thing I guess is frustrating is that the players would have gone into that dressing room in a bad mood. They'll get over it, life will move on, but they would have gone into that dressing room in a bad mood, and they were in such a good reign of form that didn't need to happen. And I know I'm moaning here. I'm only moaning incidentally, in the way that when you have a tiff with someone, you get over it the next day. It's that way. I mean, I'm annoyed at Man City, but I'm not actually falling out with them. I still love them, and I'll be fine tomorrow morning. But I'm moaning now because I guess I woke up this morning, I tweeted looking forward to this game. I think it should be fun tonight. Looking forward to see Parma back in Team Lavia. And I guess I'm moaning because it could have been such a fun night and we got kind of robbed of that, if I'm being honest. I really, hand on heart, believe that. I understand that some players need him, Grealish in particular, maybe Stones, Ake, I understand that, maybe Foden as well, and De Bruyne, but I still maintain Lavia probably should have got some game time. Egan Riley was with the squad, he probably should have played at right back instead of Kyle Walker, just because what's there to lose? And I do think McAtee and Palmer should have got some minutes. I feel like they would have benefited an awful lot from it. And if they played poorly, no one cares. The senior players don't care because they're not involved. They learned something. I'm sure McAtee and Palmer would have done something nice. They might have learned something about their suitability to the first team. And overall, we get a net positive. But now we've got a net negative. The players in a bad mood. We played shite. Pep will be frustrated at them for playing shite. And we've got a player sent off. And it's just one of those situations where you think we did that to ourselves, and ultimately it doesn't matter. I get this. The sky isn't going to fall in and cave in, and things are really good and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes the most frustrating things are the things that you see coming, and sometimes you just go, I love you, but you've drove me mad tonight, and that's exactly where I am, Manchester City. And this doesn't make me a moaner or pep out. It doesn't make me anti any of these players. I love them all to bits and appreciate everything good they've done. I'm just having a good old moan because it was frustrating and it was tedious and it was a shite game of football, and ultimately it was very, very avoidable. So I guess the bigger picture is that nothing really changes. We've just now put ourselves in a bad situation for the next game because Kyle Walker won't be there. Though I guess one thing we will say is that the people who didn't play tonight, Rodri, Cancelo, Bernardo, they come out of this game smelling of roses. Jesus as well, of course. Who didn't play? Diaz, Laporte, Edison as well. Those people sat on the bench or at home. They look wonderful now because their perfect season so far, it's unquestionable that they are now in the starting lineup. You know, they have to be. We know this anyway. And it maybe is a good chance if they were playing tonight as well, we might have played poorly because, once again, the lack of motivation. But it doesn't really matter. All we know is what's done is done, and that impression, that final impression of the night and where we're at, is how it is. But Manchester City, I love you loads. I kind of just wish tonight we'd seen some of these young players, because that would have been a very good thing to do. A sensible thing to do as well, if we're being honest. We could have learned a lot about them, and we would have had our first choice right back available. And that's not excusing Walker. It was his fault. But don't give a fucking idiot a chance to make a mistake. Sometimes you have to kind of go, I know he's senior, so it is his fault entirely, but I just wouldn't have let him get frustrated or tired in the first place. That's just me. And I know there's a money element to it. You get 2.5 million for winning a Champions League group game, and that will come into it too. But I feel like at some point, some of these players should have come off a lot earlier. Cole Palmer for 4 minutes. Even if we're losing, maybe it's a punishment, I don't understand. Just take them off anyway. Get them rested or whatever. Either way, I am just waffling on now, but I'm not complaining. I'm just moaning. There's a different thing between complaining and moaning, you know. Sometimes it's good to have a good old moan. It's like you don't hate someone or you're not... I know some people are going to have a go at me in the comments for this, and some people have been very sensitive on Twitter. It's not... Some people don't know how to hear criticism without feeling like it's an attack. It isn't. It isn't. We all moan about people we love all the time, you know, and that's how it is. But City tonight, not much to learn from this game, really, we'll see. Not much to take from this game at all. It was a snooze fest. Mara scored a nice goal. Defending was piss poor. That was basically it, really. And one thing I did learn is I hate football without fans. It's horrific, and I hope we never see that again. Fingers crossed for a little bit of luck, guys, thanks for watching this video. Do me a favour, download OneFootball. And once again, this is my new home. Still putting it all together and so on. There'll be a light there tomorrow for that corner of the living room over there. I'm looking forward to it. New console table's nice though, isn't it? Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you to my Patreon producer, Scott Denemy. You're all wonderful. Let's pretend that never happened,